Hey everyone, welcome to the Rooster Teeth podcast. I'm Gus.
I'm John.
Blaine!
Barbara.
And Gus.
Audio listeners love me.
Too fast.
One more chip left that I want to finish in my bag of chips, but we started the podcast already, so this is the only thing I'm going to eat.
Audio listeners love her.
She took the heat from you, Blaine.
Thanks, Doc.
Done.
Doc.
You got it. Yeah, it's the podcast here. We're here again. So Blaine hasn't watched it. I felt like I messed up last week by not talking about Squid Game during the regular podcast.
Oh my God. How have you not talked about it yet?
We only briefly mentioned it in the post show. And now Blaine's here, and he hasn't seen it yet.
Not going to spoil it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no spoilers.
We wouldn't spoil it anyways, even if Blaine wasn't
People
here.
should absolutely go watch that show. It's really good.
Is it like the number one show on Netflix now?
Yeah,
like
it's like the number one show in
Okay.
the world.
Let's talk about
On Netflix.
that list on Netflix, though. Let's talk about that, like...
One more time.
Let's talk about that.
sex.
I was going to do the next later.
No, let's talk about that list, though, on Netflix. This is what I was telling you guys of why I waited on Squid Game and then got into it because who said that they saw it? Someone said it on Twitter. It wasn't Alfredo. Someone said they saw it on Twitter, that they were watching it, and so I was like, I'm going to watch it now. But I waited because Netflix has so much bad stuff. So much bad stuff. And what perpetuates that is that top Netflix list is just full of things that Netflix has decided is their top stuff.
Right, there's no way to verify.
There's no way to verify Netflix numbers. And the majority of the time, that list is full of a varying degree of quality production.
It's also, I'm looking at the top 10 list. There's stuff I haven't heard of on here.
Yeah, they want, like, all Netflix has turned into is that their entire algorithms around trying to get you to watch their original content. That's what they want you to watch. That's mainly what they want you to watch.
Yeah.
So,
And I want you to watch Squid Game.
but Squid Game, it's hard to like glean anything from the name and even like the promotional imagery. And
What I
stuff.
tell people when I'm trying to convince them to watch it is don't watch the trailer.
I didn't watch anything of it until I watched the show itself.
I feel
Smart
like
idea.
the trailer kind of gives away some stuff from the show.
Yeah.
I think the trailers are well done. But just like, go into it if you think it's an interesting premise, like people playing children's games and whoever can complete 6 of them.
It's the
wins
murder
a lot of
game
money.
genre.
Yeah.
Murder games.
Battle Royale.
Yeah, Battle Royale
Royale-
meets Saw.
There's also a show on Netflix called Alice in Borderland, which I've told all you guys about.
you mentioned that.
I think I
are
mentioned it on the podcast.
Loving that show, dude.
I think it's because I think I like this genre. It's just like a very interesting thing to watch, and to see like how humans would be in this kind of situation is a fascinating kind of.
Is Alice in Borderlands Japanese?
I think it was.
I watched
Yes.
the
I haven't
first
seen it.
episode when it first came out, and I can't remember now.
Yeah, Alice in Borderland
Yeah,
it has
definitely.
similar themes to Squid Game. I won't give away too much, but the first episode's very different than the rest of the series. So I think I told you, John, like get through the first episode, watch the second episode, and if you don't like it after that, then it's probably not for you, which is understandable.
I've been watching more Hulu lately. I got on a real He-Man kick, so then I started watching the original He-Man because it's great. It's
The
perfect.
movie or the cartoons?
Well, I watch the movie every now and then when I work
The
out.
movie
but it's
is
the cartoon.
Masters of the Universe.
Masters of the Universe,
Correct.
with
Not
Dolph
He-Man.
Lundgren. Brilliant casting. And then I started watching other stuff like What We Do in the Shadows. I'm currently on Over the Garden Wall because I totally missed that when it came out in 2014.
It's a good Halloween
And it's
pick.
so fucking cute. I keep telling people I'm gonna burgle their turds, and it just makes me laugh and giggle.
What does that translate to?
He's gonna steal someone's turtles, and he's like, "We're gonna burgle your turts," and it's the cutest little cartoon boy named Greg, and his brother Wirt, who's voiced by Frodo, whatever his name is.
Elijah does
Elijah
the
Wood?
older brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wirt. It's great.
Wirt.
It's very wholesome, and it makes me
It's a
happy.
great limited series. It's like such an easy little nugget to consume.
Dude, like, in,
I
like-
might have to check it out then.
It's so good, and like there's like Tim Curry and John Cleese and like all sorts of like
shit.
brilliant talent are in it. It's
great.
It's just fun.
I got my kids into Bob's Burgers.
Do they not want to watch Squid Games?
I think they could try. What did we watch? We watched something that there's a game you play as a parent or there's a game at least I play as a parent where I'm like, are you old enough for this yet? And sometimes you win that game and sometimes you lose that game. But because like a lot of stuff that is still fun and like it's okay for their age, you're just kind of like seeing where they are with Like, are you okay with that? That's scary, that kind of thing. Like we
Your
watched.
kids are 12 and
11 and 8.
11 and
8.
almost 12.
And
though, right?
31.
And 31. But no, we watched Bob's Burgers because I wanted to get something that we could just watch together.
Great show.
It's so good, and they are addicted to it, and they love it. And I love watching Bob's Burgers because Bob's Burgers is totally a family-friendly show that has wonderful
themes.
That has wonderful themes and adult content and some like mild language that I think is perfect for kids to like be
Listen,
exposed to.
As someone who grew up, you two, kind of, on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like, I think if I ever had kids, which I'm probably not going to, but if I ever did, I would want to raise them on like a more adult.
Yeah,
kind
I mean,
of
they make
humor.
they make dirty jokes that you, yeah, it's funny. Like they, you know, Bob's Burgers is the sweet spot of like not just totally castrating the content they watch, so they're only like the way that I grew up. Castrated, but no, the way that I grew up, where my parents completely sequestered me from anything that was not complete. You know, it was the Christian thing. It was like, make sure that would Jesus watch this, then you can
Expose your
watch
kids.
it.
Expose them to everything.
I wish you would show your kids more Rick and Morty. I think that the world needs more
Oh,
Rick and
God.
Morty
I think
fans.
that's a little too much for my 8-year-old.
You were raised on a strict diet of VeggieTales.
God, like even music. We didn't listen to any secular music in my house.
Secular music.
That's so
I know
weird,
that.
though.
I know that's a term, but secular music.
Okay,
it's just, I know it's just weird to hear and to think about
So what music
secular
would be playing?
nonsense.
I listened to, like, when I had my own, when I had a Walkman.
Was it like a lot
because
of
I'm
Jesus
fucking
music?
Old. There was a lot of Jesus music.
Uh-huh.
A lot. There's
Praise
a
be.
lot of that.
Amen.
You know,
Under his eye.
Sandy Patty and Carmen and DC Talk and those guys.
Don't know a single one of
That's what I listened to. And then there's a lot of show tunes because we're a theater family.
God.
One of my first tapes I ever had was Phantom of the Opera.
This is my favorite
Excellent.
tape to listen to on the compound.
Jesus Christ.
This is so
stirring the Kool-Aid.
It's so weird to hear this because, like, your brother Mike, he does Tales from the Stinky Dragon with us, and he's fucking funny. He's great. You're great. Your mom's hot. Like, I'm so confused by your upbringing because I see the individual workings of your family, and like, I'm like, John's family seems the rest think seem cool.
A lot of that has to do with I broke the bubble of the into the secular world. I broke the bubble. I was the one who swore. I was the one who liked.
He's the bad
facial
boy.
hair.
I'm the one who no, it did not. No, it did not. That took a lot of chemicals. No, but like I'm the one who like wanted to watch a lot of the other movies that we skipped out on when I got like old enough that I could pick what I watched. I'm the one who
The
snuck
best
into a
part
friend's house and
is
watched
that
Matrix.
I'm picturing what you looked like at 18 before
you know what I look like when I was
No,
18.
but like that's why I'm picturing in my head of that guy swearing and like
Yeah.
breaking like the bad guy
He was
mold.
the bad boy.
I'm gonna
That
burgle
guy-
your turds.
Fuck you! Fuck you, Mom! I'm gonna get you!
But then like through the years, like my brother and I both have done a lot of catching up and have watched a lot of movies, listened to a lot of secular music, and all that kind of stuff.
I had to catch up just because I grew up in a small town before the internet existed.
Yeah.
So it's like I had to like get introduced into society.
Yeah.
It's like there was a lot. I had to spend a couple of years catching up. But you gave a great plug. I feel like we don't plug Tales from the Stinky Dragon enough, which is our D&D audio podcast.
We were
People in support to get audio podcasts.
It's great. Like and this isn't even like self-promotion. We were talking about this morning, and I think I told you guys straight up, like, in the midst of recording episode 1, when we're all new characters on the little wagon, I was like, this show's gonna fucking bomb. I hate this. And then like now I'm fucking addicted. Like it got so good, and your brother puts so much love and care into it, and I think all of us, like, it's the highlight of my week.
I have so much to get a little real. I have a lot of self-loathing.
No.
No.
Jon Risinger?
But we're working on it. I'm in therapy. So I don't really like to listen back or rewatch anything I'm in because I don't like to watch myself. I don't even know why anybody's here watching
I
me
like
at all.
to watch.
But I get excited every Tuesday or Wednesday now when Stinky Dragon comes out because I really like listening to it. Because one, I've forgotten what happened in it, so it's fun to re-listen to our tales. And two, my brother doubles the entertainment quality with the amount of
The
audio production
sound
he does.
design and everything he adds to it, he edits it down perfectly.
It's fun to see who's going to voice an actor we didn't know.
yeah,
was gonna
a lot
be.
of cameos.
Yeah, there's cameos.
You know it's good because we all enjoy it, and we are probably the most self-critical people
Yeah.
in the fucking world. Like, again, don't like to listen to the stuff we're in or watch the stuff back that we performed in, but it's like we all fucking love this show and are like so proud of how it's turned out so far.
I feel like people frequently ask if, when we record the show, if the guest voices are there.
Yeah.
And no, they're not. They're added in after the fact. Normally, I'll just do like a temp voice,
Seamless.
and that to get through the story, and then after the fact,
It
we'll
was
have
really
someone do
funny
the lines.
because Trevor got a cameo. I won't spoil it in case
If you're listening,
people
Go
want
catch
to
up.
listen to it, which you should absolutely check it out. We're all really proud of it. But he got to do a cameo for a certain character, and he was like, "Oh, is he in a few episodes?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, what happens to him?" And I go, "You'll find out."
I think he wanted to hear one of his episodes earlier. He
Asked for. He was really excited to hear it.
asking.
So we listened to it.
Well, there's also been this has probably been said before, but there's at least twice now that my brother has written, composed, performed, and edited entire songs. Like and he doesn't play the entire songs during the episode, but if you wait to the end of the episode, you can hear the entire song.
You know what I think we should do? They're amazing. Those songs he put together. We should put them in the Stinky Dragon like Spotify playlist and like iTunes, like wherever it is. Are we able to do that, you think?
I think we should be able to do that. We can probably add it like as bonus.
Like as a
content.
bonus
Yeah.
feature?
He typically like adds the song in at the end of the episode. And one time I was listening to the Stinky Dragon episode, and I was just like listening, and then a song came on. I was like, oh wow, Micah did a really good song. And I looked, it was a John Denver song that I had queued up, and I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. But yeah, Stinky Dragon's great. Sorry about the plug, but you guys should listen to it because it's great.
No, it's worth
We're all very proud.
letting people know about something that I'm actually proud we make, which is not everything we make.
I'm also just glad that I have a D&D crew, and that it's like a character that I give a shit about, and like friends that I'm vibing with, and we're having a good time.
We vibe.
We vibe.
Wow.
Most of us.
I just started playing Link's Awakening on my Switch because I just never got around to it when I bought it forever ago. And when it got to the naming your character, I always never know what to name, but I named my character Mud. So Mud's playing through Link's Awakening.
Wait. It's not Link?
You always get a name. You always get a name.
In Zelda?
Yes.
I thought it was always just Link.
No, you can
like
name them.
canonical.
No, you can name them. I don't know if every single one of them, but the majority of them you'll be able to name yourself.
Interesting. I know that. Are they doing like all the N64 stuff over to the Switch? This is old news, by the way. But
I would imagine. I mean, what was that whole announcement with the N64 controller?
Did I miss that?
Yeah, there was like a Nintendo Direct
I
thing
think
about like
they're bringing in a bunch more games into the Switch, like retro whatever. And I think the N64 has like several games. Like I think Ocarina and Majora's Mask are going to be over.
Am I crazy? Am
Yep.
I the only-
Yeah.
That yes. I'm pretty sure that they're going to release like a
Nice.
a Bluetooth connectable N64.
I did see that there was a N64
They just
controller
added
available.
Bluetooth audio to the Switch. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. Or it might be an infrared controller, but you're right. They did just reveal they've had Bluetooth this entire time.
Yeah.
apparently.
Fuckers.
2 weeks ago on the podcast, Gus was, lamenting.
I was ready to flip a fucking table.
But before we get too far away from Stinky Dragon, too,
Nah.
I don't know if we've ever talked about how we came up with that name. Was that ever discussed on the podcast?
I think we may have mentioned it at RTX on the Stinky Dragon panel, but I don't think we've ever mentioned it on the podcast.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, so yeah, it's new for the podcast.
Yeah. Well, it was. If you watched any of the D&D show we did previously, which was just called
RTD&D.
RTD&D, there was a different name that.
Previously known as
Are we allowed to say?
Dice Cast. I said
it. Where Chris had
Lawsuit.
a little rat character named Stinky, and he would make Stinky do essentially like fucking everything for him. And when we were coming up with the new title, it was like, well, we got to incorporate Stinky. He's
Yeah.
got to live on somehow. So Stinky Dragon.
name of a pub.
Yeah.
Sounded like a place someone would be telling stories. Hence
Yeah, we wanted
Gus's
to call
character.
it the Stinky Dragon, but some people said it sounded like a perverted sex act, and they didn't want to call it the Stinky Dragon. So the compromise was to
Tales.
say Tales from the Stinky Dragon.
Yeah.
And I thought the way I thought about it was I thought about like the prancing pony in Bree from like Lord of the Rings. Like it sounds like it could be an inn name.
Yeah, inn or a pub
Yeah,
or-
in a fantasy world.
Some location there. Yeah. I also just love the little dragon with the stink lines on
Oh,
it.
I'm wearing a
Blake's
shirt
wearing
right
a
now.
He's so cute.
Wow, I'm really plugging today, huh?
You are.
I saw someone in chat said they got a Stinky Dragon shirt and their dad loved it so much that they got one for him too.
That's funny.
It's cute as shit.
Love it.
I wish my dad bonded with me like that.
You want to talk about it?
John mentioned it. I've been going to therapy too. The shit rocks.
Hell
like
yeah.
I go into it super fucking dreading the experience, and then every time I walk away, I'm like, oh, this works.
It was good stuff.
There's
Yeah.
some people who sometimes compare therapy to like a workout where it's like you go in not wanting to do it or like dreading it, and then like once you finish, it's like a toll on you, whether it's
Yeah.
emotional or physical, and then you feel like better after.
Yeah, it's good. It's fun.
Interesting comparison. It's a workout for your brain, and your heart.
For your insides.
Yeah.
Also, Kayla messaged me today. I think I told a couple of you this, but she was like, I want all of the information, all the workout information. So I spent the last 45 minutes just typing up a massive email with everything that I know. And I sent it to her. And the last line that I sent was like, do not waste my time. Do not make this 45 minutes have gone by in vain.
But you were saying it in an encouraging, nice way.
No, I was pretty like, you better not have just wasted my time by me writing this fucking email. It was in my voice.
What a great way to welcome Kayla to the Squad Team Force team.
Don't waste my fucking time,
way.
newbie.
No. Me and Kayla are cool like that. I can say those things.
You could threaten her, and it's cool.
There was like a whole paragraph about how much G Fuel she drinks and how this is gonna sound weird, but like the color of her piss and like what color it should be. I don't know what the color Kayla's piss is, but I'm assuming based off of the amount of like energy drinks that she drinks, it's probably pretty yellow.
Oh, it's probably
brown.
neon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was even giving advice. Like that's how thorough I got. I was like talking about the color of piss.
Oh, God.
We love Kayla.
And I even acknowledged that in the email. I was like, listen, I know I'm sorry I'm talking about the color of piss, but
Also, I just
important.
realized how ridiculous Squad Team Force team sounds. I was like, Kayla, part of the Squad Team Force team.
Squad Team Force team.
Squad Team Force
The
team.
STFT.
Yeah, STFT.
I had a medical exam the other day. I had to get like a medical exam for part of the pilot's license. And I went to to go to a special doctor for this. And he, I go to his office, and it's like he's in an office, but that's like in a bigger office that has other things.
Sure.
So he at one point, he at the beginning of the visit, he hands me like a little cup. It's like, here, there's a bathroom right outside the door. Take a left. Go into the bathroom there. Pee in the cup. Like, oh, all right. And he's like, when you're done, just leave it on the counter. It's like,
which
okay, that's a little weird. So I go into the bathroom, pee in the cup, and I'm like, all right, you told me to leave it. Luckily, there was nobody else in the bathroom. I leave it on the counter, and as I walk out of the door, he's like standing right at the door. He's like, oh, all done? I go,
oh no.
yeah. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go check it. And he's got like a little thing of like little test strips with him, and he goes into the bathroom, and I'm like, he's doing the test here? And he tests it, and then he comes back out like 3 minutes later. He's like, all right, all done, looks good. Like, let's keep going with your physical.
That's
like-
too much of how the sausage is made.
Yeah, it looks like normally you go, it's like you
don't
leave it
use
in the
that
door.
word.
I thought they sent it off to the lab because I've always had it to where they put it in a little locker.
That's what I thought. Like you put it in the little metal door. And
Yeah.
someone gets no. He's like, just leave it on the counter. I was like, okay.
One time I was going in for an exam. It was like a physical of some sort. I also had to pee into a thing. And I mistakenly thought that based off of a previous experience where it was like a pregnancy scare from back when I was like a kid. Apparently the most effective time to do a pregnancy exam is in the morning, your first pee of the day. I don't know why. That's just what I
Maybe
remember.
because your urine's been kind of
Built
sat
up.
up in there for a while. I don't know
It's
what
all
the fuck
saturated,
I'm talking about. Yeah.
the baby chemicals or whatever. So I went into this physical, which was at 10 or 11 a.m., thinking the same thing. Where I was like, I need all my juices to be good for them, so I'm gonna hold in my piss until I get to the exam. And
So you didn't. You slept all night. You didn't pee in the morning, and you had the exam at 10 or 11.
And I was just ready for when's the urine exam? When's the urine exam? I take a piss, and she was just so slow. She finally gave me the piss. I filled the thing up with piss. I guess this is the piss podcast, Pisscast, and it was awful looking because it was the first piss of the day, and I hadn't drank any water because I didn't want to, And she was like, "Are you okay? You look really dehydrated based off of, And she talked to me about it.
This is orange.
It was weird. Yeah.
Have you guys ever had to give a stool sample?
I
No.
don't think so.
That's a fun experience.
Oh, I can't
I'm just
imagine.
kidding. It's the fucking worst because you take the stuff home with you because I don't think they tend to expect you to be able to shit. You get the best way to describe it is a little plastic hat So it's like
You say hat?
Oh yeah, so it's like a brim with a hat thing that you put in the toilet, so it sits on the rim, and you poop into the bucket of the hat.
Oh, because then there's no water, so you could just hear it just go like into the back. Oh,
Yeah.
no thanks.
And then what you have to do, they give you like different containers. Some have to be refrigerated. Some have like water in it that you have to fill enough stool in so that there's water. And like there's like various containers for various tests. And so you have to like
Cut it up.
like go in. Put little things. I wish Gavin was here for this conversation. And then
I
like
wish I
package
wasn't
it
here
up.
for this conversation. How about that? Well, the last time I went to my regular doctor for like my annual physical, he's talking about like colorectal cancer screening. Not that I have it or anything, just like in general, right? He's like, yeah, now he's like, nowadays the technology's so good. Now you get an at-home kit. You just poop in a box and mail it out. I was like, no, we'll deal with that when we get there, doctor. He's like, you told me I don't need to worry about it now. I'll wait. Let's just we'll mark that as an action item for in a couple of years.
I'm just imagining the mailman like walking away, like, all right, here's my daily load, and then he trips and just like falls on the. I get it.
That's what the shit sounds like falling into the hat too. The same noise.
I had maybe one of the most nightmarish experiences ever in the bathroom a little while back. I think I might have told some of you about this. I was at my apartment gym, and I was on the treadmill, and my body decided we need to take a little poopsie.
Okay.
There's a little bathroom in my gym, and so I went to the bathroom, and so I had to do number twosies, and I took a whole number twosies in there, and it was a pretty decent twosies, and then I went to flush, and nothing happened. Like nothing happened. There was no water. And then I remembered
In the tank, but in
anywhere.
So you
Wait,
just
you
shit
pooped
into a
into an
dry.
empty-
Oh no, there's no tank. No tank.
Okay.
No tank.
Oh,
But-
monster.
That's where the water needs to be for stuff to flush.
Yeah.
And so I remembered, they were going to turn the water off today to do a thing to the plumbing. They turned it off an hour early. Lucky me, there's no water in the tank because they turned it off an hour early, and someone must have already come in and used up the water. So there
Yeah.
was no poop. There was nothing to wash it down. The problem is that out in the gym were two other people using the gym.
You son of a bitch.
So
Oh God.
let me ask. I'm gonna pause the story there. What do you guys do?
What I would imagine if I was working out, I might have a water bottle. I would take the water bottle and try to fill the tank and use that to flush.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
I would try to fill the tank with water and
I
flush it.
would, depending on the door, if it's like a doorknob or door thing, I would lock the other side. I would have the door open when I was finished. I'd lock it, and then I'd close it to where no one else could get in. And it'd have to be a maintenance person that has a key in order to get in. And
You
then
could also, if it's a latch, you could latch it and then crawl under and leave that way.
This was like a room. This is like a think of like a.
Oh, so it's not like a stall.
one toilet.
bathroom.
then I would
A
have
bathroom.
locked it and closed it.
If
so
I
that
couldn't
no
do
one
the
else-
water, I'd probably like write a sign out and be like, "Don't use."
in your own shit, you'd just been like, "Don't use, dead inside."
Don't dead poop inside.
Well, I can tell you that I didn't have enough water to do what you
okay.
suggested, and the locking and leaving it. That's a smart
Even
thing
from
to
the-
think of
oh,
in the moment.
Strategy.
I just had the dumbest moment. I went, even from the sink,
No, yeah, you're right.
the water's fucking
No
off.
water,
Yeah.
no water.
Idiot.
So here's what John did.
Okay.
Because I'm mortified, and I don't want to be the guy who left a giant turd. It wasn't even just a small. It was a
I ate
giant
it.
one. I ate it. No. So my apartment gym is right next to our pool. I close the door, and I pray to God that no one's going to go in there, and I run home.
You don't believe in God.
You run. Okay.
I run home to my apartment,
Okay.
and
This
I
is
have
your
a
apartment gym.
I have a pitcher that I know that I could fill a lot of water in.
Oh God.
So I run back to the gym, and I go out to the pool, and I fill it up with water.
Okay.
Now, like the way that my gym looks is that like it actually has like windows that look out into the pool. So these fine ladies who are working out, two women, one's on the treadmill and one's on like this bike, are watching a crazy person.
Oh my God.
Who clearly just left the gym, out there filling the water, and I come back in, and I have to come back in the gym, walk past them,
with the pitcher of pool water.
with the pitcher of pool water, go into the bathroom and fill up the tank. Now, did it flush after the first fill?
No.
No.
Absolutely
No,
not.
it did not.
It could not.
What it did do is use up that first fill completely and nothing happened. So then I proceeded to go back out to the pool.
There should be a game on Survivor.
It took about 4 times
No.
for me to go out there, get the water, put it in, because I was not going to be the guy. Because
How big was the container? I thought it was big.
the pitcher? It was like think of like
Yeah,
an
but
iced
if
tea
you
pitcher.
think of like a bathroom,
You'd be
But
surprised.
most
toilet tank.
toilets aren't that big.
surprised.
But they're pretty wide, so like you'd have to fill it to get to the thing where it bobs, right?
A typical toilet should take 2 gallons.
Yeah.
It's
They say
gotta be.
typically.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Well, this is probably
After
half a gallon pitcher.
It might have been a half a gallon pitcher. But I'll say this. After seeing how little one fill did, I was like, I have to just be very, very sure. I have to be very, very sure. So I was thorough and went out and got 4 times. And
Then it
Did you go
worked.
home and get 4 containers? That way it was just 1 trip? Or did you make 4 back and forth
Individual
trips?
no. I kept going out of the gym to the pool, fill it up, back into the gym. Out of the gym to the pool, fill it up, back
Did
in
you
it.
tip your hat every time you passed the women and go, my lady?
I just was
Watering the bathroom, as I do.
I just had my eyes
Just
on the
doing
prize.
human things.
So I finally fill it up, and it flushes, and I'm sweaty.
Yeah.
Like I'm tired.
What a workout.
I'm tired. I haven't even gotten to do my workout. Like it was treadmill warm up is what I was doing, and I haven't gotten to do my workout.
Lord.
So I flushed it, walked out, and then I was like, I have to say something.
Oh, God.
I have to.
At that point, you don't. At that point, you let bygones be bygones.
Here's the problem. 1 out of the 2 women I have seen there multiple times.
Have you talked to her?
And no.
Okay.
But she's gonna keep seeing me.
His ex-wife.
And
Here's the thing I don't think you understand, John, is you are like such a friendly person and you're so approachable and like not intimidating in a great way. You probably could have been like, hey guys, I went to the bathroom, the toilet's not flushing because I turned the water off. Just don't go in there for a little bit because I haven't flushed.
Well, I
I,
didn't
like
give-
you don't have to go into detail about what you
Well,
did.
I didn't. Okay, so they didn't. I have not talked to them at this point yet. They have just been watching.
Do
this
they
in
know each
silence.
other or they're 2 separate?
They're 2 separate people.
Ah, okay.
But so they're 2 separate people, and so they've just been trying to do their workouts while a crazy man keeps going in and out of the gym with chlorinated water.
What you should have done, slam the door behind you, go, whoo! Do not go in there, baby.
You know how like if you're ever at the gym or anywhere out in public and you're just trying to get your task done and
Yeah.
there's someone like on the street or something or in the store causing a scene and you just keep focused on your task 'cause you're like, I don't want to be part of this. That was what they were doing this entire time. They were
Just don't make eye contact
just don't
with
make
the
eye
crazy
contact.
person.
So when I finally came out, I just confessed. I was like, hey, I'm not a crazy person. The water's turned off and I needed to fill the tank up to flush the toilet. Just letting you know. And I got the most dismissive, just like, from them both. And I just went, all right, did my job.
Why do people like? Maybe I'm hyper aware of other people's feelings, but if someone were to do that, I'd be like, oh, no worries, like cool, like.
It just depends. Like, I don't know. They probably were just like, one was like barely even noticed me. She's like, oh, okay. And the other one was just was like, oh, okay, that's fine. They just really, I think they didn't want to be there either. They didn't want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And so me acknowledging what just happened made it more real for them. And so they would prefer if I had just been silent and walked away and just been that weird phantom that came
If you
in.
walked away straight to the leasing office, early termination on your lease, gone over to the U-Haul place, packed up your apartment, and moved the fuck out.
Dude.
It was like that thought in my head when it didn't flush.
I just
was
I feel other people's embarrassment. So if I could tell someone else is in an embarrassing situation, I will like go above and beyond to be like, "You're cool, dude. Don't worry. Like, it's all good." To make them feel okay about it, and the fact that they were just like, "Okay,
yeah.
In chat,
I can't."
Yeah.
Panther85 says, quick, ask him how he washed his hands.
Oh, I couldn't.
So your shitty hands were dealing with like touching all the doorknobs.
Well, my hands aren't covered in shit.
Yeah. How do you poop?
Or how do you
the
wipe, more
bidet in my
importantly?
house.
Into a hat and then.
But that was the public version of like a toilet getting stopped up at like a friend's party. You know, that was the like. You think you can't? You think like if you cause a stoppage in the public, you can just walk away. This was the instance where I couldn't walk away. It was my apartment gym.
And do
Why
you still
didn't
drink
you-
iced tea out of that pitcher?
No, that only pool water got into it
Yeah, then it became toilet water, though.
after it left it. So it never touched toilet water.
But it held toilet water.
It held pre-toilet water.
Could you have just gone to your apartment bathroom to poop, and it would have solved all of this?
Yeah, I mean, it would have involved me leaving the gym and going all the way back to
It's
my
pretty
apartment.
far.
But you went
Yeah.
back.
Oh,
But you
get
went
the
back to
It's
get
far.
the pitcher, but yeah.
Well, you got to think.
If
Barb,
you're thinking it's gonna be a quick poop and flush,
that's what I'm saying. Is that I've used that restaurant. Not restaurant. I've used that restroom. I've used that restroom. Shut up. I've used that restroom a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because like you're like I work out.
It's right there,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's right there. You work out in the morning, or I work out in the morning, and you got like sometimes you don't time when your poopsies come, and you have
Yeah.
to go use it.
If I could avoid it, if there's only a one bathroom situation, like a one stall or like that, it's just one door and like everyone shares that, I don't poop in that.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
that's I'm too paranoid about like something going wrong.
Yeah, I'm gonna be extra careful next from now on. Anytime I
Do
ever
a
think
test
about
flush.
Or
Yeah,
just bring
yeah.
a pitcher with you every workout you go to.
They at our climbing gym, I haven't been in like over a year, but they have the men's room, women's room, and then they have like the family rooms. I go to the family rooms because I can like lock myself in there.
It's like the single stall
Single, yeah.
door.
Yeah, and like sometimes I just wonder what people are thinking that I'm doing there because I'm just in there for so long.
They just think you're the jerk taking up the family room.
There's no families that are going climbing. I'm fine. But yeah,
Well, they won't be going to the bathroom while you're there.
They're like raising two daughters. The dynamic changes when you're single dad and you're and they're slowly turning into women. When they're babies, it's one thing. But as you get, like if you go to a family restroom and everyone's got to go, it's like, all right, you guys go in that corner so dad can use his potty because I can't let you guys be out just running around in
Right.
public. I need you to be here.
so they just stare in the corner. That's
And so-
got to be the most comfortable.
Well, it was like
shitting situation.
when they get old enough to actually like talk and everything like that. Like you do have to. I had to be like, okay, go to that corner and turn around. I need you just to face that corner. I cannot have you,
Power
like-
down.
I cannot
Analysis
have.
mode.
Yeah. So daddy can do his business
That's
until they get old enough that you can actually feel like somewhat
You
comfortable.
can trust
leaving
them for 3 minutes.
I'm not even trusting them. It's more so trusting the rest of the world not to steal my kids. And so that's always like a juggling game.
It's always not fun. That's the absolute wrong word. An interesting experience when you're in the women's restroom and a mom is bringing in her son.
Yeah.
Because like when you're that young,
Yeah.
they need
supervision.
supervision and protection, all that stuff and whatnot.
It's the same in the guys' restroom when
where
a
they
dad
bring
brings in a daughter.
a daughter.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys have this, but sometimes little kids do whatever they want and will crawl under stalls and stuff like that. One time I was in the bathroom and a little boy just crawled under my stall and I had no idea what to do.
Stomp his face.
So I punched him.
Hello. I went, hello, and then I heard his mom go like, Brandon, get back here.
Dude,
I
that's
was
the
like,
worst.
Kick
You're
him in
gonna learn a lot
yeah,
today.
Kick him in the face. That'll teach you. He'll never stick his fucking head like that again.
There are times when you're a guy and you walk into a guy's restroom and a dad is there with their son and their son hasn't quite learned how to use the urinal correctly. And so he's just got his pants all the way down to his ankles. And so you just walk in the restroom and you're just not ready to have seen like a bare ass.
I
staring
don't
at
have
you.
any experience to back this up, but I'm willing to bet Chris Damaris does that.
I think he
Puts
does
his
that
pants
to
all the
this
way
day.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
but
willing
still.
I'm willing to bet he
He gives off that energy.
Yeah, he puts his pants
He
all
gives
over
off the
the floor.
energy of somebody who holds up their shirt while they pee.
If you knew everything you knew about Chris, but didn't know what he looked like, sounded like, or never met him, how old would you think he was?
Like from
Ford?
stories we've told.
Stories. He's told, or that we've told, or that like things that he's done, like.
I don't know, because Chris has some very adult-oriented stories.
I've had like alcohol-related stories, so I would assume he'd be like late teens, early 20s.
Chris is like the Robin Williams film Jack. You know?
Yeah.
His body keeps aging at a rapid pace, which is a normal pace for other people, but his like actual like inhibitions and perceptions of the world do not age properly with him.
Yeah, he's a very interesting fella.
You know, Jack, that movie everybody's seen.
Yeah. I love Jack.
I don't remember that one at all.
I vaguely remember it.
It's the premise is that like his cells like age 4 times as fast, and so he's growing 4 times as fast.
Oh, so it's like reverse Benjamin Button.
So he's like a kid, but he's Robin Williams.
Yeah. So it's like he's like a 10-year-old, and he's Ron Williams. Is what it is.
It's a great movie.
I don't
Very
think it's
heartwarming.
well reviewed or super loved.
I'm
liked
very
it.
biased to anything Robin
Correct.
Williams. So that
Correct.
anything he's in, I'm like, it was great. It was awesome.
Correct.
I get that one mixed up with Big, which is
They're
Tom
similar.
Hanks.
They're similar.
Yeah.
little
boy
person's
who
mind inside of an adult
grows
man.
up
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
to a man. Yeah.
It's also a one-word thing. Jack Big.
Jack Big.
Jack Big.
Don't say it with your eyebrows going like that.
Jack Big.
Jack Patilla somewhere just went.
When we were coming in for this morning for testing, like Jack was there already. So, you know, I like rolled down my window and just because he said hello. So I was like, okay, I'll say hello. And, you know, we were talking and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to roll up my window now. So then I roll up my window and then like I do my test and then like Eric Badur rolls in and then he's like 2 spots over. And then I feel bad because Mike, our audio mixer, like also rolled in, but he saw that me and Eric were talking, so then he like leans back in his chair and he rolls down both windows so that we can continue our conversation.
Talk through your car.
And I was being a dick, and I was like, Mike, can you just like lean back some more? And like me and Eric are just talking over Mike. I felt really bad about it, so I tweeted at Mike afterwards.
Oh.
I drove away, and I was like, I was so rude to Mike in that moment. I'm so sorry, Mike.
I saw Barbara during testing earlier.
Yeah, I was
today.
just about to get my test when Gus rolled up, so you got to witness my
I
very
didn't look.
intimate moment.
I can't watch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I turned away. I can't.
Oh,
I always
watch
sneak a glance at people getting their tests.
It's like a sexual experience that I don't want to see, and I like want to provide like privacy for because it's like they're penetrating you, and you're like
let's say an intimate experience instead of a sexual.
sexual. There's penetration,
Not sexual.
John.
It's not sexual.
It's well, I mean, I come
well,
every
what
time.
we learned
so.
on Last Laugh is there's the nussy, which is the nose pussy, right? Which is a term that just started this past year and a half from COVID, where people getting their little jabs up their
I
nose.
think we used that in like an on the spot thing.
Last Laugh.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That was a last laugh on the spot thing.
Again, everything we make content-wise, half gets deleted from my brain.
Or just gets blurred altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's fun watching Last Laugh back. What are we currently on? 4?
I think 5 is coming out this Thursday. So
That's
yeah,
a big one.
4 just came out.
That's
4 was a big one. A lot of people.
4 is a big one.
4 is a big one.
Yeah, 5's a big
A lot
one.
happens in 4.
5's a big one too.
I was very satisfied with the level of participation they asked me to do because there's no way in hell I wanted to actually be on that show.
Why not? Didn't it look like fun?
It looked like it would kill me with my anxiety. It literally looks like, oh, how did John die? Well, he did the show called Last Laugh. Because that show is my anxiety trigger. I have severe social anxiety and I get severely overwhelmed and depleted by social interaction.
Yeah.
And so to stick me in a room with 6 people and also on top of that, don't laugh, but also be entertaining.
Make other people laugh.
Right.
Yeah. Or try to when they're trying not to.
So-
Oh, man.
Well, I'm saying when they asked me, they're like, hey, we have a cameo. I was like, great. And then when they literally already had the cameo figured out, they're like, we're just going to have you do on the spot. I was like, oh, good. It's something I'm comfortable with. I know how to do on the spot. I get
People
to
are familiar with
I
it.
also get to I get to be a villain, which I love being a villain, which is try to get people out with making them laugh. And so I loved doing that. It was great.
It worked really well
Yeah.
for that show because
Broke the-
the stuff that happened during it and following the segment, like it clearly warmed people up in a way that we needed to happen.
Yeah.
It's just nice to be with Armando.
That was that
Sure,
scene, of watching Last Laugh. That's the first and only time I have been in a room physically with Armando.
Oh yeah.
Because he flew in for that, and I met him. I think even I don't know if it made the cut because I haven't watched the episode yet. But he was like we said hi, just met each other, and then that's been it. I saw Kai when she came for Welcome Back Week.
Yeah.
And that was the second time I had seen Kai. But other than that,
Have you met Charlotte? Or was that also the first time you met Charlotte was in Last Laugh?
shit, that was actually the first time I met Charlotte as well because
Yeah.
I've talked with Charlotte and played video games
Yeah,
with
it's,
Charlotte.
it's funny. We streamed with all of these people. And
Yeah.
when we filmed Last Life
Yeah.
was the first time I think I met all of them.
I saw a really funny comment that was like, seeing Trevor next to Armando is like seeing Jeremy next to Trevor. Just because of like the height difference.
Armando's
He's
tall.
very tall.
He's a big old boy.
Yeah, and I thought Trevor was tall.
What is Armando, 6'5"?
6'5".
6'5" or 6'6"?
I think 5.
6'5".
Tall man.
Trevor's like 6'2".
We've been like collaborating a lot over the course of the pandemic and have become very good friends.
You and Mondo?
Yeah, to the point where we're like, we play video games together. Sometimes we'll call each other. Like, he's become like my closest pen pal. And we always had this weird running joke that we were going to fight each other to the death. Because I think one of us challenged the other one who would kill the other person, like in like a Thunderdome situation.
Normal stuff.
Yeah, and I know that I would win, and then Mondo says he would win. So like, it went so far as when I picked him up to hang out with him before Last Laugh was going down, I had a baseball bat in my car, and I was like, Mondo! And I opened up my trunk and I pulled out the baseball bat and I was like, you're gonna die! And then we hugged and it was fine.
And then you
showed up.
smashed him in the head with a baseball
And he
bat.
died.
That was it was a little bit frustrating at the time when we were filming Last Laugh, because we had scheduled ahead of time for we had to do an episode of the RT podcast here because Last Laugh was being filmed over there.
Right.
Right.
So ahead of time, I had scheduled for Mondo and Charlotte to be on that episode, and we were going to announce that we were filming Last Laugh season 2. And then like that day, I got an email that was like, "Hey, you know what? Never mind. You can't actually announce that."
We're not announcing this yet. Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, how am I going to explain that Mondo and Charlotte flew in and are sitting here on
Here's
the
the
couch?"
thing. They're so fucking funny. They're awesome people that I don't think there was a single comment that was like, why are they here? It was all just, these people are awesome.
Yeah. But it's just like, I hope nobody asks, "What? Did they fly from LA just for this?"
You can always be like, well, we're filming something with them.
Yeah.
I
Wink,
actually
wink.
had a thought the first time I saw clips of Mondo's stand-up. And the thought was, oh, thank God he's actually good at stand-up, because when I heard he did stand-up,
Yeah.
I was like, the worst thing in the world would happen is if he like was hired on and became our friend, and then was that friend who does stand-up but is bad at it.
Oh, no.
And so, like, that's just again, talking about anxiety triggers. Like, oh my God, it's like having to go see someone's like theater
Bad
production,
set, yeah.
and they're like a terrible actor.
No, he's great.
And so to see is like, he's not just like he's good. It's like, oh, you're actually like really, really good. Like you're very, very talented.
A lot of his stand-up clips have also gone like super viral
Yeah.
on TikTok and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like they are fucking funny. I think I might have seen one of his clips before I knew him, and I was like, this guy's funny.
He's very, very good at stand-up.
He's one of those guys that like it's frustrating because he's like somewhere in his 20s, mid to
I think he's
late.
24, 25.
Oh, like early to mid 20s then, and
24?
he's just like on the upswing. Like he's like doing great, and I think he had like a special planned, and then like the pandemic got in the way. But he's just like he's going places. So, I love Mondo.
I
Good
had
dude.
Do you remember when we were up and coming?
Please
10
don't do
years
that. We just talked about therapy.
when we had some moments in some previous hard modes recently where I was mentioning films that you guys were like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like Clifford and Beethoven. And
Those are dogs.
I was, yeah.
They're dogs. Very good.
Thank you.
One of the movies is not about a dog, though. I was talking with Cameron about it because Cameron and I, as I'm his manager, we have a one-on-one every couple weeks. And we were talking about this stuff. And I realized that I'm more than a decade older than Cameron. And I'm realizing now,
How old's Cameron?
I think 25,
He's a
And
baby.
you're 36?
37.
You just turned 37.
I just turned 37, but I'm realizing now that I am like, oh, I'm a decade older than the like younger people in our cast now. I am now the guy who is like more than 10 years older.
Just
than
fucking
people.
learned Shane's the same age as Gus.
Welcome to the club.
Would you have guessed that?
You've done better than he did at taking care of yourself, and I mean that genuinely. I would have put you at my age, is what I would have put you at.
Shane's one of the crew behind the scenes.
He's over there. You can't see him.
Why are you saying it like he's Dracula?
I don't know.
He's behind the scenes.
Because I feel like it sounds cooler that way. We're also in October. Spooky month.
It's spooky month.
Behind the scenes.
Cameron's my buddy. Like we live near each other, and he just got engaged with his soon-to-be wife. I don't
There's
know,
a term for it.
Fiance. I don't like French people. And,
Got engaged with his soon-to-be wife.
Soon
Yep.
to be wife.
anyways,
Longest way you can say it.
yeah, we hang out. Sometimes I run into him when I'm on my walks with Dutch, and he watches Dutch when I'm out of town. He's a good little neighbor.
Cameron's one of the people that annoyingly got more in shape during quarantine because
Dude,
his fiance
Yeah, we
did like
hate
No, no,
those
no.
people.
His soon-to-be wife.
His soon-to-be wife.
soon-to-be wife.
We did when things were starting to get normal before like variants and all that shit happened. We had like a birthday thing where it was me, Eric, and Cole all have birthdays in May. So we're like, we should just get like a lake house. So then we had some people out. That everyone was vaccinated, and we all felt very safe.
That was such a good weekend.
It's such a fucking great weekend.
That
'cause
was
the first
so
time in a
refreshing.
year that we had seen each other. Yeah.
I spent the exact right amount of time at the party.
You showed up with your girl, and you guys were like,
Oh no, she could have stayed there all night. She is 100% energized by social interaction and has been like deprived like crazy during quarantine. And so she actually like could have stayed and would have just chatted with you guys all night long.
yeah.
It was a really fun time. But
she like turned to me at one point like, "Oh, you're done, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yes,
Battery
yes, please."
drained.
John's not here,
Must
man.
recharge. But anyway, so like I was doing workouts out. There was like a little dock, and I brought like some like bands and shit, and I was gonna do my thing. Cameron went for a run. He came back, shirt off, and he had taken his glasses off because he wore glasses. And then the whole like Superman Clark Kent thing made sense to me. This is like, holy shit, Cameron's hot as fuck. Like, not that with his glasses he's not hot, but it was
He's
just
also
like,
he's going for that Leonardo DiCaprio from the '90s haircut right
Yeah.
now,
He-
with like the bangs, the middle part. It looks really good on him.
We
does.
did a TikTok challenge today that was a physical one, and I was very happy that I was able to do it, and
You're a strong boy.
and surprised that I always think Chris is more in shape than me because he aesthetically shows more muscle than I do.
I think it's because he's very thin.
He's very low in body fat.
Yeah.
He's very low in body fat, and he's got definition from working
also
out in the
used to
past.
work out a
That's the
lot,
thing,
yeah.
that it's still there. But I was very proud that I see him as more aesthetically in a shape that I'd like to be, but I was one who was able to do the physical challenge.
That body dysmorphia, man.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Gets to you.
good times.
But Cameron was doing it, and while Cameron was not able to do the challenge, I did have the thought, I was like, he still looks good doing the challenge.
Yeah.
Like, he's a good-looking boy, you know?
I almost got it.
Yeah, it was
Not
a
quite,
hard
though.
one. Gus almost got it, too.
Yeah,
Did I get it?
didn't want to show anyone up. I didn't want to make anyone feel bad.
You'll
about
have
it.
to watch to find out if I got it. Who knows?
We have a video we do want to film that we just haven't gotten around to yet, where someone reminded us all of there's like the 5th grade PE.
Kayla was talking about that.
Kayla was the one?
Yeah. Are you fitter than a 5th grader?
Yeah.
Oh, they like do you guys remember like presidential fitness test?
Yeah, like
That's what it was.
the
That's
beep,
what it was.
the beep
Oh, I fucking
test
rock
and,
that
and
stuff.
all that stuff. So essentially trying that stuff now to see if we're as fit as we were in like the 5th grade.
I think there's like a running challenge, which I think that would be like
The beep
kind of the
test.
gray area for me.
The what?
Is it not the beep test? That might be a Canadian thing. It's where there's a beep that progressively gets faster, and you have to keep making it back and forth
Look
on the
this up.
beep.
Oh, like a relay kind of back and forth?
You're going back and forth, and like based on like what like the last beep you're on. So it's like this is the 10th beep, like the 10th interval of it.
Oh, so when you don't make it, that's your
yeah, and they like
score.
want you to be at a certain number by a certain age.
They call it the presidential fitness test when all our presidents are old as fuck and they
because
couldn't
it
do
was
shit.
it was like, I think it might have been a first lady who initiated it. I could be completely wrong, but I think it was a first lady who did it as a way of like trying to standardize health with our youth.
What are the names of these things? What's a curl up?
I think
that
that's
like a
the
sit-up?
I think
Curl
that's a sit up.
Isn't it? Oh,
So you need to do 55 curl ups if you're a 17-year-old boy, 44 if you're a 17-year-old girl.
That was like we like before we started calling things crunches. I believe that's kind of what it is.
V
The
sit
presidential
reach.
fitness test was
Pacer
between
test.
sometime in the late 50s until 2013.
Are you
all right. Some
fucking
people
with me?
in chat are saying pacer test, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. I think it's the same as the beep test.
They need boys to do a 6-minute, 6-second run if they're 17 years old.
What does that mean?
A what?
6-minute,
What distance?
a mile.
Just run? Oh,
mile.
oh.
Like that's
That's a fast mile.
when I was like cooking it on a treadmill during like the early days of my like workout journey. I was like, it was 6 minutes would fucking drain me.
I
was
think at my
hard.
peak when I was doing way too much running and not doing enough weight training, I got to an 8, maybe 8.5 minute mile, and I was proud as hell.
I
of
was
that.
never a runner. I was
No,
never.
but I'm saying even that was like 8. That's the mile.
Yeah.
John doesn't do anymore. That's not like John could do a marathon for eight minutes. Like no, that was like John used everything for that mile.
There's also something where you had to run around a track for 30 minutes and like see how far you would get. I forget the name of that test.
They just made me feel terrible.
They really tried everything they could to make gym class not fun.
Oh, and it was always the presidential fitness test was around all of your peers.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
everybody was just watching if you could do what was the thing where to see how far you could
that was the
reach.
V something.
Oh.
Or
There was
reach.
like a box.
They
and
called
on
it the
top of the
V-reach.
box was a ruler, and your feet went against the box, and you tried to reach over, like kind of like leaning over,
Yeah.
and try to go as far as you could.
I don't remember that one at all.
I like.
hated
I'm
that.
conflicted on this because I do think that the way that they have the test, it's like not great for like the developing mind of a child and like what
Right.
it does with the psyche. But I do think that like no, we should absolutely make our kids physically active. But it's just like there's a weird like how do you go about doing that and not make them feel like total pieces of shit?
I think
And
there's a way to make it fun.
Yeah, maybe that's why they discontinued it in 2013.
Yeah.
okay,
That
got
makes
it.
sense. Yeah, like there's so many parts of like PE that were fun and enjoyable that like you could make exercise and staying active like actually something kids could look forward to instead of it being like you're gonna run for the entire class
I just remember
and just run.
Coach
That's it.
Anderson was our gym teacher, and that guy was like everyone's hero at the school. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
just fucking huge, and like he'd do like a pull up, and everyone would be like he was like the hero.
You played sports in high school, right?
Not very well, yes.
So my football coach was also my history teacher. Did you
Yeah.
guys have situations like that where
My
like
dad is a
Yeah.
history teacher, yes.
so oh really? And
Yeah,
he's also
he is
a
a
football
football coach.
It was just funny because he was like super cool and like everyone's favorite teacher, of course. But because he was also my football coach, he would call me B Dunks every time. And so I'd be like, yeah, B Dunks. Barbara, like what's that? Like he'd have to like switch his brain in class to like call me my actual name instead of like my sport name.
To history mode.
Yeah,
On.
history mode. Yeah, he's a cool dude.
It wasn't until like much later in life that I looked back. I was like, oh, there were guy teachers I thought were hot, and that's why I felt that way about them. Because I didn't realize
Oh,
that I was
bisexual brain.
That's what I'm saying is I didn't realize that it was an option for me to be queer until much later in life, and even then I thought of it as just a black and white world of either gay or straight, not as a spectrum. And so it wasn't until like looking back, I was like, oh, that science teacher. I thought he was hot when he came in and showed us how the body works by getting on his tandem bicycle and doing some bicycling, wearing his tiny little shorts. And he was doing that kind of thing and showing us what happens to the body when it's in like physical. He was hot. That was the thought that was in my head.
You just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out, you know?
Who are the hottest teachers?
Who?
Yeah.
Miss
what's-
Dinsmore.
What subject?
We don't need a name.
What subject?
Consistently?
The ones in rock music videos in the 80s when they take their glasses off and shake their hair down.
That was Miss Dinsmore. Second grade, she was gorgeous. I love that teacher. She was so cool.
My philosophy teacher was, I think, like the talk of the town in my school.
yeah.
Substitutes were always the hottest because they
Oh.
were like young people who hadn't got a full-time teacher position, so they were like people in their early 20s that were just gorgeous. I mean, I have like probably like half a dozen sub teachers that's like you were very hot.
I like recently moved and I was like filing a lot of stuff and I was like sorting through old schoolwork and things and I was like I should keep this just whatever. And I saw like old school pictures and I saw from like 5th grade, I think Miss Rush. And at the time she was just a woman and I just like whatever, you know. But then I was like looking at this picture I was like Miss Rush was a babe. Like,
Miss Rush.
By the way, I do know the name of that science teacher, Mr. Ramirez, and it's because he was hot. That's what it comes down
I'm
to.
too afraid to say the name of my teacher who was hot because
he listens
I
to
feel
this
like
podcast.
it's somehow going to get back to him.
I feel like I never had any teachers that were even in the universe of being attractive.
Really?
Yeah, it was like nowhere, anywhere in the neighborhood.
Oh.
So I don't know, but it was fine by me.
I do like the mental process that you went, or the Olympics that you went through, thinking that your teacher was hot, and just like the conflicting feelings, like the way that religion changed my view of like masturbation and exploring my body as a kid, and like how these fucking days of my life ruined because I felt like I sinned and I was a horrible person.
Spilling your seed.
I felt so shitty, and like they'd have those guys that would come in and they'd be like talking about AIDS, and then I'd walk away from it thinking like I might have given someone some AIDS because I jerked off. Like it was just so weird. I just grew up with so much guilt.
Texas education.
Dude, horrifying shit, man.
Between Chris not getting sex education last week and Blaine thinking masturbation gives people AIDS, what the fuck are we doing in Texas?
Dude, it's awful.
Is that more of a Texas thing or a religion thing?
Column A, column B.
Yeah.
A combination of both.
Yeah, a little you got chocolate or you got peanut butter in my chocolate going on.
We had a Wednesday night youth group at my church, and that was it was the high school Wednesday night thing. You come hang out, do a lesson from the preacher and something like that, sing some songs, that kind of stuff. And that was an all year long thing we did. It was like the cool night to go to church with all of your youth.
Wait, was this what do they
Feels
call
like an
it?
oxymoron there. Cool night.
There's a name for it, right?
Well,
or was it your
This is
church?
high school. This is high school.
Right. So it was at 729. What the fuck was it called? It was like a Texas program.
Oh no, this
But
is
it's like the international.
just my church. Just my church. kind of
Okay,
thing.
sorry.
And one night every year was the sex talk night. And so
Is that when the most kids would show up?
well, a lot would show up because they would actually have a Q&A session.
Okay.
In the Q&A section, you think some of our RTX Q&As have been awkward.
Oh no.
This was also just on a new level. But half of the lesson was we'd all meet in the same room like we normally do, big old congregation room, because I was in a big church, and listen to the preacher give a talk about sex and love and all that kind of stuff. And then we would split, and the boys would go into one room and the girls would all go in other room. We'd have very specific boy-girl talk.
Oh.
And looking back at the stuff that they told us and the lessons they were trying to teach us was literally what created brains like that were just like, let's just lay a heavy layer of repression over a sprinkling of repression, and then let's just seal that off with some more repression.
But don't double condiment, because then you'll break it.
If this is too much of a personal question, feel free to no comment. Do you
answer.
consider yourself an atheist now?
Yeah.
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 So not just agnostic
No,
or anything.
atheist.
Atheist.
Yeah.
There's
Full broke.
I found this when I was browsing TikTok one day. There's a podcast called The Atheist Experience, which is fascinating. It's hosted by people who I think a lot of the hosts were formerly super Christian and now are considered atheists. It's just fascinating.
There's a great, because we
I
talked
just find
about.
it such an interesting dialogue.
I will try to check. I'll check that out. I love listening to like the McElroy brothers. Clearly, had you listen to McElroy brothers and talk about their youth. And that was my youth. That was my youth completely.
Wait, but Clint McElroy's like cool though.
What I'm saying is that their story is almost exactly like mine because none of them are religious anymore.
Yeah.
But they
I
used
don't
to
know
be.
where they land as far as agnostic or atheist, but none of them are any more of that like born again Christian.
Isn't
kind
their
of thing.
dad though? Like, I mean, they have him in content. Is he still like a religious dude?
I don't know.
or-
I don't know the story, but they make jokes about it. But you know how we talk about TikTok? There's spaces at TikTok that
Yeah.
you get, and I love the former Christian TikTok spaces. A lot of people
Are you
that
there?
like, yeah, and I get content like that. A lot of them are like gays that are now that talk about how it was growing up. But it's affirming, it's reaffirming to like know that other people had like a similar experience.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember there was a youth outing thing where it was like a sleepaway thing.
You would out people?
Yeah,
There was like
just a mass
That's really
outing.
fucked up.
It was like a 2-day thing. We were like slept over at some person's house for the weekend, and then like in between like field day things, we would also do like church services, and then the youth guy would have like a one-on-one session with each boy.
I'm cool.
And I remember he sat me down, and I immediately that was the closest I ever got to confession. I was like a Baptist, and I just like bawled. And I was like, I did everything wrong. I don't read the Bible enough. I'm a shit person. I think naughty thoughts, and I just like
I
fucking,
masturbated.
5 minutes ago.
everything. It was
Every day.
so fucking bad, and I just like
Yeah.
think back to that, and that's one of those cringy things where I'm going to sleep, and then I think about that, and then I go, oh.
I feel like that probably wasn't an uncommon situation for that guy to be in, though.
Well, someone
But
in
just
a
putting boys in that situation, like that's.
I don't think there's a lot of things that are very healthy.
Yeah.
that
well,
happen in
someone on
that
in
situation.
it might have been a TikTok pointed out that a lot of like the environment that I grew up in of like where the Christian church was at point, and I don't, it could still be there. I haven't been to church in forever. It was a lot about like really rising emotions up a lot and really getting like this kind of almost dramatic response for people to be in a state where they're almost hysterical in like feeling about their emotions and their wrongs
Feeling
they've
guilt.
done and having these kind of like big emotional stirs and that kind of thing. And so then it would lead you to have those kinds of experiences either at those kinds of things. It's same at like church camp. We plenty of times where that kind of like it leads to a moment like that where everybody makes big professions of new renowned faith and everything like that. That was something that was pretty common.
I do want to clarify, like, I mean, we're not dogging on religion. Like, I think that there's still religious institutes who can do it right, and they like practice what they preach. But I think overall, what we've experienced is not that. We've
I
like,
think there's extremes of a lot of, especially like in this day and age. There's, I think, a lot of extremism going on, and it's just. To me, I'm totally of the same mindset of like, you do you, boo. Like, whatever you want to believe in and stuff, as long as it's not unhealthy or cruel to other people or infringes on other people's beliefs or rights in that way. Like, the thing that bothers me about some parts of Christianity is how people or there's an obligation people feel the need to make sure like other people aren't sinning, quote unquote, so they feel entitled to dictate what other people are doing and how they are living their lives.
Yeah.
Like, you know, being gay is a sin or whatever it is. And like it's like their duty to make sure these
save people.
To save people.
That's always like the framing.
That to me is very, it's where it gets a little, okay, like this is not.
Yeah, just stay in your lane, do your thing,
do your
let them
thing.
do their thing.
Believe what you want to believe. If these are the rules you want to follow to like whatever you want to do in your life and the way you want to live your life, great. But do not dictate how someone else.
There is
chooses to do it.
some great stuff I've learned. I started talking to my dad a little while back and kind of just I actually have been documenting it, having conversations with my dad and him telling me his life story because he got kind of a health scare a while back and I was like I want to have my dad's story documented. My father's a pastor and has been. That was his entire career, his entire life basically. And there's been some great realizations from that of some of the stuff that I didn't realize he was even doing in the meantime that in hindsight was pretty revolutionary for the person in the position he's in. Long story short, my dad started a community theater group in our church growing up. And that's why I'm a musical theater kid. We joked about today why I learned how to juggle is because of a production of Barnum. Don't laugh, okay?
I was thinking about you juggling earlier. It was good.
you fucking bully.
But I didn't know this at the time because it wasn't told to me that in starting that production, and my dad did it specifically so that half the cast would come from the church, the other half of the cast had to come from the community, people outside the church.
Wow.
And he knew that and to do that, he would have to be open to the possibility of queer people showing up because we're talking about theater, y'all. We're talking about what
Queer people in theater?
Yeah.
The theater?
And so he laid down a rule with the elders of the church. He's like, they're going to come in and audition and they're allowed to be in the show and they're allowed to come and be a part of this production company.
Wow.
Even though you won't have them in the church otherwise.
Interesting.
He said, that's how it's going to, this is how you actually do outreach, or you at least make an impact on the community in a positive
Instead of
way.
judging the shit out of them.
So I didn't realize this, but they're like, and again, in hindsight, talking about like John looking back, like, oh, there was hot guys at school. It's like, oh yeah, there were tons of gay people in our productions, and I didn't realize that they were just full of just them homos. Like that's what it was, and that was my father did that intentionally.
That's cool.
Which is crazy to think about someone that I was mortified until I was in my 30s to tell that I was queer.
Yeah.
Barbara
It's-
Dunkelman.
Yeah, that's great.
I think
Dad's a good dude.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude.
Sorry. I have like a train of thought here that I'm trying to like grasp onto. So if you want to go ahead.
I was just saying, like, I mean, off John kind of like talking about, the legacy and knowing about his dad's past and stuff like that. I've also been kind of beginning to do that because, parents are getting older and shit. And like, I'm now in a position, and I realized this the other day, like, I'm as old as my father and my mother were when I was like X years old.
I think about that all the time.
It's so weird to do that comparison.
Like you would have like you having a 4-year-old
Because
or
at
something, right?
your
Right.
age, your dad at your age, how old were you?
23.
Holy shit. Holy
So you would have a 23-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Gus. There's not enough time. You've run out of time.
But like there's like moments where, and I need to do that, where I need to have like more of a sit down with my father, but like there was like a cool thing that happened. I think it was at RTX a couple of years back. We had premiered Arizona Circle and a bunch of other RT productions at the Paramount Theater, and I brought my dad in, and he was kind of looking around. He was like, I went to a concert here when I was your age. I sat right over there. It was this person playing, and I was with this person. And I'm almost tearing up right now, just like thinking about like, yeah, my dad was a young man. He was cool at one point. He was like me. He's cool now.
My dad was cool once.
It's really making me think that we really need to get on this with Gus. I worry we don't have enough time. So I think we should really start documenting your story if you want to.
Back when I was your age, I remember when they built that Paramount.
Oh my God. This is ultimate.
See, you could say back when I was your age, and you would have said I already knew you.
You 100% are at an age and have spent enough time in Austin that you can point to a lot of places and be like, that was dirt.
It's funny you say that. Before the podcast started, that's what we were all doing in here. Before you guys showed up, we were just talking about all the movie theaters that used to be around town, and what's changed and what's where it used to be, pizza places that don't exist anymore. I was like, we were talking about stuff from the 80s. I mean, we went way back before y'all got here.
I was so intimidated because there was like one of the most recent podcasts I was on. It was you, Jeff, and Brian Gars, like the 3 old men at Rooster Teeth. And I was like, all right, I gotta limber up. I need to like be ready to like get down with the old dudes, because I was like, these guys know way more about life than I do.
Brian, I mostly can't stand Twitter anymore. Brian is one of the best things to follow on Twitter because he says all the things that I want to say.
He burns constantly.
Someone in chat pointed out, and I think this is true, that Armando is actually 23, which means that you could be his dad.
That's why you love Mondo
You
so
could be
much.
Mondo's dad.
That's why there's such a kinship
it works
between
out.
the two.
Yeah.
Did you figure out what you were gonna that thing?
Yeah, it's a complicated thing to talk about because obviously, like, I wasn't raised Christian and I never was like part of the Christian faith, and there's only so much I know about the religion. But my understanding is that Jesus was a very loving and accepting individual who was all about loving each other and being good to each other and supporting your fellow man. And it just seems like there is such a hard turn that
there's a dissonance. There's a lost in translation that happens.
Yeah, that's just something that I have a hard time reconciling.
He's also Jewish. I don't know why you haven't learned about him a lot in your.
He was Jewish, yeah. I did not retain any knowledge growing up. Just the important bits.
As much as he shit on those like, what would Jesus do wristbands? They're onto something, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, if the stories of him are true and things that he did or did for mankind were true, then like he was a good person.
How old are WWJD bracelets at this point? How long?
I had a bunch. I had a sick fucking neon green one with black letters, and I was like,
those
I'm staying a virgin for life, not until marriage, bro.
What is this? What is
WWJD.
this? What you gonna do to your wife when you get married?
I don't know how the female anatomy works.
Jeez.
Those bracelets, I don't know if they were the start of that kind of a bracelet, but they definitely were the thing that made those bracelets the thing.
They were originally created in 1989.
Wow.
That's when the acronym was first
WWJD.
coined.
It was like right before I was born.
And then it had a resurgence in the U.S. and elsewhere in the 90s.
I was gonna say it may have been made in '89, but it was in the '90s when it became just a.
That's one of those things like with the Dare shirts that I think they ended up like people take them back over, like they switched the meaning of it. Like if you wore a Dare shirt,
Dare shirts like
drugs.
at Target now.
What does DARE stand for again? Drugs something?
Drugs are rad, everyone.
Jesus Christ.
That's the title of this episode.
There's
There's gonna be people in the comments being like, when do they talk about this?
In the last seconds of it.
There was like a Dare stand out in front of a Chipotle one time, and I like told someone about it, and I was like, "What's up?"
What does it
I'll look it up.
What Dare?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But there was like a sign up, and then I like I joked about it to like I think he was like Rosas or somebody, and he was like informed me very quickly how fucked Dare was. And it's kind of like a remnant of the war on drugs.
It was part of the war on drugs,
Yeah.
which in the end was not actually a war on drugs.
It's just imprisoning people
Yeah.
in awful, awful things.
Yeah.
And so then knowing that, the next time I saw them, they were like kind of hounding me, and I was just trying to get my Chipotle. But I was also on a call because I was in the middle of a meeting. So I went in and I'd gotten my to-go order for Chipotle, and I was walking out, and they're like, "Oh, sir, you know what, whatever." And I just remember and I was still on the meeting, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I do drugs. I love weed." And then I just kept going. And in the meeting, it stopped, and everyone was like, what was that? And I was like, sorry, it was a dare sign up, people. And they're like, okay, continue on.
Drug abuse resistance education.
Gotcha. Okay.
No one ever remembers that. I already forgot it. I just read it. I don't
Thanks, Line
remember.
Fire. They
A
were,
lot of people in the chat saying it was like bullshit or something like
Yeah,
that.
total bullshit. And I know before the pandemic, I think there was a dare stand outside of the Starbucks by the studio,
yeah.
and they tried to talk to me and everything. Like, yeah, dare's back. We're all about trying to stop bullying now. And I was like, no, I'm not. No, don't talk to me.
If you
And you
look,
pants them and left.
Yeah.
they had a bunch of
Take it,
shirts,
nerds.
and one of them had a very clear thin blue line on it. And I was like, oh, okay.
Interesting. That's an interesting crossover.
Yeah.
Are all the Dare shirts now? Do they have like a different acronym on them? Like, did they try to fix it?
Just DARE.
I know, but since it's about bullying, what's their?
I don't even know if they were just saying that to try to talk, because they could tell I was troubled by bullies when I was younger.
Oh.
Like, this'll stick with it. Well,
I just saw that guy get out of a really nice car. We should ask him about bullying because he looks like he was bullied.
You, sir, with the emotional baggage, come here.
Quick sidebar. Someone on this podcast really has to use the restroom.
How did she know? I have to
Was
so
it-
bad.
was it-
Should
sun
I?
chip?
It was the beer. It goes right through me and the sun
Go for
chips. I could come back though.
yeah. I
Okay.
would- no,
I'm just making sure
Yeah.
that you don't want to end it now.
no.
Okay, cool. This
come
is the
back.
first time I've ever left the podcast to pee, by the way.
Oh, damn.
Historic.
Yeah. You're watching it live.
Why is there a puddle?
If you're a first member,
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. That was the podcast.
One of the other things they did in that medical I had to do that I told you about.
Yep.
yeah.
It was actually really morbid. The doctor asks me, do you have any tattoos on your body? Any identifying marks, unusual moles?
Oh, I know this is
Yes.
Yeah. And I was like,
yes.
yeah. And he I tell him, and he like documents all of them. He's like, okay, great. I was like,
going. Why?
So you're.
that's for identifying a body, right?
Oh
Right.
God. Your body is pretty identifiable,
Yeah.
I will say.
Gus's body's a wonderland, and I want season passes.
I am still. You are. We talked recently, and I was asking like how a while ago, but I asked about like what your like dietary habits are, because you don't seem to really change in weight,
Nah.
and you
Oh,
said
again.
you said you put on some weight, but I'll say this. I saw you recently with your shirt off, which happens quite often at work.
all the time. I think this time you're talking about you walked in on me though.
No, I did not see you that time.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, legitimately, when I opened the door, did not look in, closed it.
Okay.
But no, like you were changing your shirt in front of
Yeah.
me, and I think I saw you from behind, and your profile, despite whatever weight changes, never changes. You are a just straight. You only go out
Right
one
here.
direction.
Yeah, right. It's
You
just
do
right
not
there.
go out to the side at all. It's amazing.
Oh, Peter just made a really good point. So you had to tell the doctor about your Atari.
I had to show him too. I was like, I got this Atari logo right here.
Look at this bad boy.
It's medically documented now.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was like again.
Just one spot, and I can tell it goes out. It goes down.
It's your little biome
Yeah.
that goes out.
Yeah, could lose a few pounds.
What do you do to lose a few pounds? You just like cut down
I'm
on
trying to
some
stop
of
snacking so much, but it sucks because now that we're like back here all the time, I just eat shit all the time. That we have, like even the sodas. Like I normally never have that shit.
Yeah.
It's like extra calories, so I just try to like not eat as much extra shit outside of meals. That's like the big thing for me.
I started doing a like Ghost brand protein sports stuff, and I don't do like pre-workout, but I did do a pre-workout yesterday, and my body felt like an erect penis because I was just like,
Do you know what?
A wrecked penis?
an erect.
Oh, okay.
Erect.
It was like, bah! Yeah, speaking of
Barbara.
shit that I don't typically put in my body.
I learned a little trick.
The girls' bathroom is so much further than the men's bathroom.
It's very far. I
Yeah.
just thought about that when coming over. I'm like in this building. I was like, is that the only girls' bathroom?
Is that
way
the
over
only
there?
one?
Yeah.
No,
Because I think the one that ours is the only guy bathroom.
I thought there was a comparable women's bathroom by the men's one.
No, it is on
it's
the other side of the
one.
building.
It's like past the kitchen.
yeah.
crap.
It's far. I thought about that.
And I'm wearing fucking overalls.
just trying to
On the way, I was like
unbuckle.
taking this
That
off.
was really fast.
I ran.
So far away.
dude, overalls. Oh yeah, nice. Oh, Fox Eagles is great. I bought overalls the other day, and I had 3 people give me compliments on them at the.
You have good overalls.
They're comfy.
Yeah, they're really cool.
I want to tell you, not everything I learn about is from TikTok, but I learned one other thing from TikTok.
What's that?
Of a little workout trick.
Okay.
But I think actually works out pretty well. And as a pre-workout snack, Rice Krispie treats.
Oh,
Did I not talk about that on the podcast?
You did.
Like
Barbara
carbohydrates
did
and
mention
shit.
it.
The little TikTok thing.
I didn't see it from TikTok.
Okay, so there's a TikTok of a guy talking about how he was trying it out, but then a nutritionist did a follow-up on TikTok and just broke down like the reasons why, and I was like, well, it actually makes some sense. So I have a box at my
Rice Krispies.
house of like little 90-calorie Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah.
And I eat those about like half an hour before I work out, and it actually feels pretty good, like a little burst of energy.
you should try that.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously like sugar and carbs, and that's what it is, but if something, what's going off
Weird
off the
noises.
camera? Something about like the little self-serving size, single-serving size of a
Yeah.
little Rice Krispie treat kind of works out
Not
perfect.
not the giant ones in the kitchen.
Not the ones-
No. Those ones are
Massive.
much bigger.
Just get one of those, cut it into 4, and you
Yeah,
have 4
yeah.
workout treats.
Did black coffee with an apple is also a great pre-workout.
Yeah, because the sugar's in the
Isn't that
the
what? That's
apple.
all Christian Bale ate while filming The Machinist. Was black coffee, 1 apple a day, and cigarettes.
Jesus
Ew.
Christ.
Yikes, dude.
Yeah. Have you ever seen The Machinist?
I mean,
he looks
yeah,
like a
he's-
skeleton.
Yeah, awful.
Sir, Skellington.
Looks awful. Movie wasn't awful.
He has the amount of weight that he has gained and lost for films has to be like at least a couple of people now.
Oh yeah.
Because he went from Machinist to Batman, and then he's lost weight again, and then he got
That's
weight.
got to be bad for your heart, right?
Oh, has
Yeah.
to be.
But it's also
right?
it's got to be stuck to be like that guy in Hollywood where it's like, oh, you can throw Christian Bale at it. He'll like
Yeah, he'll look however you want. him
Luckily,
to
he
look.
also eats a lot of beans.
Good for the heart. The more you eat them, the more you fart. There you go.
nice. Nailed it.
Sweet. Your
And you,
beans are
Barbara,
there.
get it. We did that challenge the other day. We clapped at the same time.
Yeah, it's
I was
the
so
intuition
happy.
challenge where you have to close your eyes and then like try to clap at the same time without like a countdown or anything like that.
Should we do all 4 of us?
Let's do it. Okay, we're
Okay.
starting now. That's so fast.
I don't know. Well, we should do 2 at a time.
I think we got one. I went, and then you all 3 did. So
You
I
gotta
was-
let it breathe. First.
Okay, let it
All
breathe.
right,
Let it
all
breathe.
right,
Let it breathe.
Here we go. Here we
All
go.
All of our eyes are
Breathe.
closed.
We're letting it breathe.
This is great for the audio listeners.
Nope. We still haven't gone.
We're still going?
Yeah, still go, still go.
Oh my
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
That was pretty good.
God! Oh, look at us. Wow.
So we can get 3 of us. That's what we learned. We can get 3 out of the 4.
Gus and I though got it like the
We nailed
exact,
it.
You did get
the
it. You
exact
did get
beat.
it.
It was crazy.
It's like that guy and his daughter that did it, and it was really cute. Except for it's you guys.
Me and
I
my daughter.
I couldn't be your daughter. I'm too old. 10 years too old.
Unless-
Wait a second.
I finally get to see my family soon.
That's nice.
Yeah, I finally booked tickets home to Canada. Haven't seen my family for 2 years.
They're finally getting out of prison.
Finally.
Good for them. Good for them.
It's just weird to think about, like, I was 30 when I saw my parents last.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to be 32. Like, that's just weird to think about how, like, there's been
Yeah.
a 2-year gap in time.
Definitely weird.
I wonder what happened between then and now.
Not much.
You guys still
No,
fighting?
It's one of those. I had a moment. I think I was like at a store, and I had my mask on, and I also realized I had my most recent booster shot, and I was like, I feel safe. I'm okay. I'm okay. And I hope that things go back to normal. But in the meantime, I was like, yeah, I'm comfortable. I'm okay. It's like that fear has like worn off because now that there's more information about it, and I've taken the precautions
And you have your
necessary.
vaccines, so
Yeah,
you know that
all 3 of us.
Soon my kids will get vaccinated, and I'll get to actually breathe the fresh
Breathe,
air.
yeah.
Fresh air.
Have you ever seen that the audio that's like, I've never been relaxed ever in my entire life. Thank you for asking. That reminds me of that, how like this whole pandemic, your kids have just been like,
No, it's been hell.
can't get
It's
vaccinated.
been hell. Mike, it's been hell. It's been hell. Mike agrees.
Yeah.
And if you at this point, if you at any point see a parent out in public, just give them $5. Just give them $5.
Parent tax.
Yeah, or a tenner.
$10.
Just do that, just because they have been through something you do not understand for like the past year and a half.
Yep.
Do you take American?
I'll take anything.
Okay.
My Venmo
I'll
is.
Venmo you.
Yeah.
Well, it's so warm.
I saw something. I can't believe I'm going to engage with this, but I saw something that annoyed me that I feel like I have to address.
Engage.
Someone.
Snake.
So obviously you see us here, and we're back in the office, we're back in the studio, we're filming content together, and we don't run the bumper anymore, but obviously we're all vaccinated. We get tested
Every week.
when we're in here. Where we, when appropriate, we maintain distance. The people you don't see behind the camera are all wearing masks right now.
We wear masks unless we're on camera.
Right. But every now and then, someone will see someone on camera wearing a mask because they can if they want to.
Sure.
And then they take that opportunity to then go on saying that for all of our posturing and all of our words, that we're all hypocrites about wearing masks. And it drives me fucking crazy. If you see those comments, stomp that shit down. Yeah. We are so fucking serious about trying to be safe about all of this.
Yeah.
About, wearing masks when we can, keeping as much distance as we can. Even when we're not filming, who we just spent earlier today filming other stuff in the other room over here, like when we're not actually in front of camera filming something, we all have masks on. We're all we're trying to be as careful as we can about it, even though we all tested negative this morning.
We all have our vaccinations.
We all
Most
are
of us have our
vaccinated.
boosters.
Yeah, we're still trying to be as careful as possible. Just if it so happens you see someone on camera wearing a mask, it's not because, because we don't care. It's because they chose to in that moment, and that's fine.
Yeah, sometimes people have a cold.
Right.
And we know masks work for, helping the lack of spread of a virus. So the same thing could be going.
Not just COVID.
Yeah.
But other stuff.
Oh, yeah,
too.
because I just got over a bout of it's the common cold, but they call it the human rhinovirus. Anyways, I'm fucking huge now. I'm like a rhino.
You got
I think
it.
that's what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, is that it?
sometimes people just choose to wear a mask for whatever. If they're have the sniffles and want to be extra careful, or if they
Right.
had a cold recently and they want to make sure they're over it before potentially spreading it to other people.
Or they're around Chris Damaris and he smells extra funky that day. It happens.
Although
It's
smell
just-
particles.
It's
are
just
smaller
annoying.
than
We're so careful.
Well,
We've been trying to be so
we're also
careful for so long.
We're in a situation too where there's control over it. So everyone's been tested. We know everyone here is vaccinated, fully vaccinated. And it's not the same as you're going to a grocery store.
Right. I guarantee you, if you see me,
Have no idea who anyone is or what people's situation is.
if you see me outside and I'm not with this group right here in this scenario, I've got that mask on all the time.
Yeah.
It's also
Guaranteed.
not the whole term of posturing. It's you mean trying to make sure people are safe and don't catch COVID and don't die? It's just such a weird thing of social justice. It's no, it's caring about fucking
Empathy.
common good and
Yeah.
people's well-being.
I actually wore my mask the other day for something specifically other than COVID, walking to my mailbox outside where I don't I'm not around people, but I wore it because it was that time of the year where the trees just start releasing pollen everywhere.
yeah.
I could literally see clouds of pollen in my neighborhood, and I
all in
went,
your car.
all right. So I put
Mask
that
up.
on and walked in. It actually worked out pretty well.
So bad right now.
It's so bad.
I like wearing it so people don't know who I am.
It's
You're
great.
not
Anonymity.
Barbara. Just
Yeah.
print it on the mask.
If you have sunglasses and a mask,
Oh,
You're set.
gone.
indistinguishable.
Like a hat. and pair.
Perfect.
My girlfriend and I were doing this thing where I think we were in our car and we were about to go up to the drive-thru, but we had our masks on in preparation. So we're just hanging out. And then I would reach over and pull down her mask, and then she'd be going like this. We were just doing, and we were just cracking each other up by pulling each other's masks down and having dumb fucking faces. And I was like, we just played a game of peekaboo. And
You know
died
you're in a
laughing.
good relationship if you can make each other laugh like that.
Yeah.
So easy. Doing the dumbest shit. Who's that?
Who's that? Where'd John go?
Oh my
Who's that?
god!
I don't know.
Security.
My god, that's Jason Bourne.
My girlfriend, if we get to brag about our significant others, my girlfriend, who is a literal genius and makes me feel like a Neanderthal plenty of times, still has her funny little dumb moments where at one point we were driving to get food and she turns, she goes, wow, the moon's really bright tonight. I was like, that's the sun.
You're like, yes.
That's the title. That's no moon. It's the sun.
It's the sun. And we both just started busting up laughing, and she brings it up still. She'll the sun will be out. She's like, look at the moon, John. And we just start laughing. One of the best inside jokes from our relationship.
There was one
now.
time where I kept getting a certain phrase wrong. You know that it's from Lord of the Rings where someone goes, I eats it whole or something.
What?
It was something where someone's talking about I'll eat it whole, but it was I'll eat eats it whole.
Was it like an orc?
And I kept saying,
Or like-
I'll eat its whole.
Oh God.
It's Gollum eating
Okay.
fish.
But I kept saying, I'll eat its whole.
I'll eat its whole.
And Trevor kept laughing, and I was like, "What?
very
What's
specific
wrong?
place to
What
put
am I
that S.
saying?"
You gotta
And
put that
he's like,
S, a very
"Listen
different
to
spot."
what you're saying. I'll eat its whole.
Oh God.
I just kept saying it.
Title of the episode: I'll eat its whole.
Yesterday morning, I went on a quick errand, and then I got back home, parked my car, got out of it, and then as I was walking past my car to go back into my house, I like looked, and one of my tires had like a bulge sticking out of the side of the tire.
Oh.
I was like, oh, that's no good.
So like when it's going, it's that bulge is on. It's like a zit.
Like a bubble. Like
Right.
a bubble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a bubble on the sidewall.
Ugh.
Well, that's not
I
good.
was like, that's not good. And I like,
Boils.
poked it. Yeah. So I was like, oh shit, I guess I shouldn't drive my car. So then this morning I had to like get up early, and like right when the tire shop opened, I drove up there, and then I wait in line and get up there, and they're like, what can we help with? Like, there's a bulge on the side of my tire. They're like, oh yeah, that's not good. Let's go look at it. So I showed them, like, yeah, there it is. And the guy's like, whoa, that's really big. Yeah, you shouldn't be driving on that. It's like,
And then
yeah.
he looked at your tire.
Jesus.
Heyo.
And then he like just happened to like glance at my other tire. And he's like, oh, that one's got it too.
Oh fuck.
And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, the back one right here. Look, it's got it also. He's like, did you hit a pothole really hard? I was like, I don't think so. I mean, the roads are kind of shitty in Austin,
bizarre.
but I don't think so. He goes, yeah, like both those tires need to be replaced now. And
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. But then he's like, he goes in, looks at the computer, he's like, yeah, we don't even have those in stock either. We'll have to order them. They won't be here till Saturday. I was like, cool. So I can't drive my car until
What?
Saturday.
Could they give you a rental if that happens?
Well, it's just
Because-
like a tire place. Like they don't.
Oh, it's not like
yeah.
for your particular
No, it's
car.
like it was just like a tire shop.
This is like Blaine's completely uneducated theory. Do you think it's because you have an electric car and it like accelerates at such a rate that it like maybe caused that bubble?
I don't think so. But I mean, what the fuck do I know? I'm not a tire scientist.
Well, neither am I.
Tire
Is
scientist.
anyone?
Any tire scientists in the comment section, let us know.
It's just so weird to see. Like you picture that part of the tire like always being smooth. Oh, but luckily, when I first got the car, I bought like a warranty on the tires, so they're gonna replace them for free.
Smart.
There
Nice.
you go.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was like, thank God. So I just gotta wait until Saturday to get my fucking tires for my car.
My Jeep is also in the shop. I had to, so it's ancient. It's like, it was made in 95, so it's not ancient, but it's old for a car or Jeep. And I take it to the shop, and they leave it there, and it's a place called Just Jeeps, and it's literally fields of just Jeeps. It's so many Jeep Wranglers. And I play baseball with a group of guys on the weekends, and I realized that my glove was in my Jeep, so I had to drive there in my girlfriend's car, and I had to stay. I was building it up to Eric Badura. I was like, I'm gonna stage a heist. I'm gonna steal back my glove. And they were like closed on Saturdays. And what it ultimately was me just parking and just like walking through a field of Jeeps and then finding it and then taking my glove out. But yeah, for all of your Jeep needs in Austin, Texas, in the Travis County area, go to Just Jeeps. They're great guys.
They
Just
didn't pay for this. Bleep that entire story out.
No. Robert, listen to me. I'm here for you, Robert. Robert's the owner, and he's GM. He's a good guy. Ask for Robert. Tell him Blaine sent you. Just Jeeps.
Robert, we'll send you an invoice.
Yep.
No.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Just Jeeps. Robert.
All right, thanks, Just Jeeps.
I eat its whole.
I ate its whole.
There's our title. I eat its whole. Barbara photoshopped as Gollum with a big butt. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.